and welcome back to our second video. As you know, we're talking about connections, and as Anne and I said in the last video, there's like a lot going on in our heads around this connection thing, because connection is so important. And you know, in some ways sitting on this side of the camera and actually not having that face-to-face connection, we really want to, you know, be seeing that we are reaching people as best we can in this. And what you were finishing talking about there, you were talking about feeling very, very connected with yourself when you got up in the morning, and about, you know, the things that you can do and the meaning and purpose and the values that we bring to our work as well, and the work that we do in the college and around co-production. There was the theme that we did on compassion and hope.
Yeah.
And I think our work is very much based on that piece of self-awareness, that education is about educating ourselves about ourselves.
Yeah.
And that very much comes up in the theme on compassion and on hope as well. And I think it's really important to just acknowledge that but this crisis, I've heard lots of people say, this crisis is like held a mirror up to themselves. And suddenly the things that we're used to filling our time with, putting our money into, the places we usually go, the people we usually see when we go out the street, all those things have been taken away. And sometimes we can in fact numb ourselves to what's really going on with us. Mm-hmm. So maybe having these things taken away is also shining a light on things that are quite uncomfortable to see. They can also be shining a light on things that are really important to us, and getting ourselves back to our values. And that can be really challenging if you haven't really been in a position where you've had to go through that process before. I know for myself, in terms of my journey through mental health services over a very long period of time, part of my journey of healing has been about looking at myself, getting to know myself, getting to know what makes me tick, getting to know again who I am in the context of the world around me, who I am beyond my labels, my diagnoses, who I am just as Lisa the human being, not even Lisa the mother or the wife or the colleague. Who am I just in this? So in some ways this crisis, which is a crisis, I've faced many crises in my life. I know what it's like to be afraid. I know what it's like for things to be unknown. I know what it's like to go through trauma. So there's a lot going on at the moment that's in fact very familiar to me. Yeah. And yet even within that, it's shining a light on a lot of things and bringing up a lot of things for me that we're having a lot of discussions where I'm having to reflect. I'm feeling very vulnerable in some ways, and needing to reach out and have extra support and conversations and things to feel connected and to be able to share those stories and those thoughts and things going on with me. And that's really important to me, maintaining my well-being, and sometimes it's just about getting through the day for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But it goes back to the whole hope piece as well.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're wanting to share with you, that beneath this all, that beneath the challenges and the things that are maybe coming up for people, that we do hold that hope.
Mm-hmm. And I think, and that's really, really useful to hear that reflection, Lisa, from you, because I think it's a really good reminder that we're not alone, and that you're not alone. The people out there who are feeling alone at the minute, because of some of the disconnection that might be happening, and how you might reconnect again, is understanding that you really aren't alone, and that what is happening is transient, it's temporary. It may go on a bit longer than we would like it to, but it is temporary. There's something about us reaching out to you and saying we hear you and we see you out there, but we also believe in the power of hope, and we believe in the power of connection, and actually giving ourselves an opportunity to think about how we might connect in different ways, how we might reconnect with ourselves. You made a very useful point there, Lisa, about when we get on with our daily life, before this ever happened, we get on with our life, we see people, we go to work, we don't stop to think often, we don't stop to take a lot of time to reflect, and often we can take things for granted. And at a time like this, when we are challenged with limited space, limited contact, limited connections in many ways because we're not up the street and in and out of shops all the time and in and out of our families, our parents' homes, our children, friends' homes, whatever. You start to think about, well, so what is life, what are my connections really like in my life? I mean, I've certainly slowed down a lot. I go away for weekends a lot, I spend a lot of time with friends, and I spend a lot of time with family and less time on my own. So this has shone a light on how I actually spend my time, who I connect with, the reason that I connect with other people, and it's making me think an awful lot more about that.
Yeah.
So when I think about that for me, I'm thinking, well, it has to be like that for other people, because we are just, those of us who work in services, irrespective of what our lived experience is, are a reflection of who's out in the community. I mean, we are the community. I live in this community, I work in it. So when we talk about the community and connecting with people, we're talking about ourselves as well, and who we are in relation to other people. My connections to my family are limited, and my connections to my closest friends are limited. So I have more time to be at home and think about what's really important to me.
Yeah.
And I am hoping that I'm making the best of it, actually. Decluttering, and I'm clearing out the house. I'm much more present with myself, much more present with my daughter, doing things at home that are helping me connect better with her, because I'm having to make more of an effort, and I'm thinking, well, if I'm having to make more of an effort, I'm just an ordinary person. I'm sure other people are having to make more of an effort as well.
Yeah.
In spending time with people, making those connections meaningful, having conversations, because we have to share spaces together that we might not have had to share before. I'm not with the people that I used to be with frequently, and so I'm thinking about what are these connections actually meaning for me now? How can I make my evenings when I go home from work, what does connection really look like? And I have to say, and I'm honestly reflecting a lot on what I used to do and what I'm doing now and what life really looks like now for me. So I really want to reach out, and I think we both do, and as a college and as a trust, we want to reach out and let you know, the people that we would be normally connecting with, that we see you, we hear you. We believe in the power of hope. Hope is generated by making new connections, understanding what makes us tick. That hope piece on education and self-awareness that we discussed in the last video, Lisa. I just think it's really, really important to think about what all of those things actually mean to us now. Every voice matters. So how do we make every voice heard at this time?
Because for some people, I'm thinking of a time over quite a long period of time when, in fact, my only connection in the day was going to my chemist to collect my script.
Yeah.
That was my connection, and then the occasional coffee in the coffee shop. Apart from that, it was my four walls and family in South Africa. And I'm thinking, if I'm sitting on that side of the camera listening to a message, could be a staff member who's going home to a relationship that's breaking down, maybe to a child who's having issues with addiction things. There's lots of things going on for people, you know, and our experience at the moment is not necessarily what your experience is where you're at. But the thing is, looking at within that, what is it that we can do? And some of the things that we're talking about is making it, the connection is making, okay, so this is where I'm at. So with that, because we do hold that hope, we do hold that belief, because even the fact that people are getting through some of the things that we know are going on out there at the moment, that you're getting through the day with the challenges at hand, mean that we have got resources in us that sometimes when we're really challenged and feeling really stretched, it's difficult to access that hope and that feeling that I can do this. We forget. And this is about reminding you that even if you're just getting through, that in itself is about hope, is about your strength, is about your resilience, and it's working with what you've got and where you're at the moment. And I think maybe in the next video we need to come back to talking a bit more, reminding ourselves about what those things are that generate that hope. Absolutely. The things that help us keep well, sustain us to get through the day when we're really challenged.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so we'll check in with you in the next video to talk a bit more about that.
Yeah.
Okay.